But yesterday we had the biggest problem that any teenager could ever face. My daughter had organised to meet her friend at the fair and she was very excited about it. But on the way back from a walk, she recognised that her phone was dead and she was unable to charge it, so there was some issue with the phone. So she started to become really annoyed and frustrated. My name is Conor McDonough. I typically work with children with autism. Now, my daughter doesn't have autism. However, when she becomes frustrated and angry, but when children with autism struggle with sensory issues or speech and language difficulties, they often experience the same sensations internally of their body. Because our fight-flight response is very basic within our brain, it tells us that we have a problem, and it actually prepares us physically to deal with that problem. So amongst other things, our breathing escalates, our heart rate escalates, we get a shot of adrenaline, and we go into high arousal. So this is useful if we have to deal with a physical threat. But when it comes to a non-physical threat, it does cause some difficulties because we go into high arousal. And this means that we have difficulties with problem-solving situations, we're much more impulsive, and we have difficulties with managing our emotions. I firstly acknowledged my child's frustration, and although I was thinking this is a pretty minor difficulty, I tried to remain calm and not get frustrated myself. I then tried to move away from the difficulty a little bit through distraction. So we noticed a very slow horse that was in front of us, and we joked about the fact that it was never going to win a race. And it gave me the time to think that actually what I need to do is demonstrate to my daughter that we have to problem solve effectively. So we need to start looking for solutions and options. So we went through the possible difficulties, but she was getting worried that she couldn't contact her friend. So we had to think of alternatives for that. We thought about whether she might be able to use my phone to contact her friends in any way. So in the end, we got a charger for £1 in Morrison's, and it all ended well because it charged the phone. But when any child has difficulties and they become frustrated and emotional, it's important to think about what's happening internally and what's making them feel like this. Because if they've got very rigid thought patterns and they're struggling to find solutions, and now they become anxious and emotional, it further compounds the difficulty. So we need to teach them and role model how we problem solve situations and look for alternative solutions.